Hey, what's up, guys? This is Brian Barrera, CEO for LC Innovation here. Yeah, you've been seeing some of the posts that I've been doing on LinkedIn and on my YouTube channel about the five tool employee framework. Well, this is what started it all. The PACT model is what started it all. Um, the five tool employee framework is a model that I built that I've used out in the field recently that is getting rave reviews and it's getting really good feedback. But that model was kind of, even though I launched that model first on LinkedIn and on YouTube channel, this is where it started. It started in the first model that I built, the PACT model. This is the PACT model: pivot, adapt, create, transcend. And then if you do that, you disrupt an industry or you avoid disruption. But the reason why I went over the five tool employee framework first, why I introduced that to my YouTube channel first and a LinkedIn, is because that's a model that I built. I had influences from Branch Rickey, who created the five tool baseball player, Bill James, who does statistical analysis for baseball, and then he influenced Billy Beane, the general manager of the Oakland Athletics, and the movie Moneyball with Brad Pitt. And then they influenced me to start doing this whole PACT model. So this PACT model is actually based on that. If you notice, the five tool employee framework is five tools, and then this model is five tools as well. Pivot, adapt, create, transcend is four, and disrupt is five. So I kind of like to work with that, the five tools, right? I really like to work with that. But yeah, this model was built first. But the reason why I launched the 5 tool employee framework first was because, as I explained earlier, that's an original model that I created. Was it based off another existing model, the 5 tool baseball player? Yes, it was. But in regard to business and then transcending it from baseball to overall business, that's what I believe that I've built. And but this model, though, this model was the first one I built from the Your Ego book. But this model got a little more criticism. Two criticisms that it got: wasn't consistent, just by like three people. Other than that, I heard rave reviews as well. But the constant criticism that I got, number one, was that this is built more for corporate structures, not startups or entrepreneurs or small businesses. I couldn't disagree more, but I understand why that was said. And the second criticism that I received was it's not original. It's a bunch of models that I found that work out in the field, and I made it into my own model, which I agree with. But this is why it's such an effective tool, because if you understood what I was talking about, you would see that this is actually a structure, a structural framework. This is what to follow. These are the models that I've learned, and you're going to follow these models in order to really reach the success stage, right? And to me, the success stage is not millions and billions of dollars. To me, the success stage is being at in the fight. That's what, to me, success is. It's being in the game, being in the fight, continuing your journey. That is success to me. There's going to be peak years where you have incredible sales, and then the next year it's going to drop off if you're not paying attention to market or customer factors. If you're not paying attention to that stuff, it can really hurt you. But I'm talking about being in the game, right? Getting a little bit of profitability, giving back to your employees, maybe expanding your facility, whatever the case may be. I know I say that a lot. That should be the actual YouTube channel, whatever the case may be. But that's what I believed in with this model. This model is made for you to follow it, follow the structure, follow the first phase to the second phase. And if each one doesn't work, you jump to the next phase. Or sometimes you want to refine a previous phase that you didn't do well, that you didn't really strategize correctly with. You want to go back and fix that. You want to go back and pivot. You want to adapt, right? Or you want to create something new. But that's what this model is all about. And yeah, I understand it's not original. I understand a lot of the other models that I've learned over time that are effective. Blue Ocean Strategy, the Balanced Scorecard by Kaplan and Norton. Sorry, Blue Ocean Strategy is by Mawborn and Kim. The Balanced Scorecard is with Kaplan and Norton. The Competing Values Framework, the Organizational Culture Assessment Instrument that I learned at Pepperdine, is with Cameron and Quinn, and then all these other models that I've learned since then in my PhD candidacy at the Chicago School of Professional Psychology. But yeah, all the models that I've learned were built into this, but also some real life case studies were in this, where I'm showing people that your ego is getting in the way of you completing the PACT model. The PACT model, the structure is the structure to follow. And yes, it's not necessarily something original, but the structure is original, right? And then the other criticism that I heard, and I keep saying this criticism because I love being challenged. I know people are going to tell you that, but I do like being challenged. And the reason why I like being challenged is because I'm my biggest critic. I challenge myself 100 times before you even say one word. That's the way I am. But when I hear something original, then I'm like, okay, I understand that. I'll write that down. I'm going to challenge it. I'm going to validate my tool even further, and that's exactly what has happened. But that first criticism, it's so true. Yes, blue ocean strategy, balanced scorecards, ROIs, lean manufacturing, all that stuff is kind of made for the bigger organizations. And I understand that. But I put a cultural spin onto this, and we're going to get into that in Transcend. But I put a cultural spin on this because you have to know the pulse. You have to feel the pulse of the organization. You have to understand it. You have to understand the climate of that culture, the climate of the organizational culture, right? So if this is made for the corporate world, it puts a spin on it where culture's involved and culture is monitored, right? The pulse is monitored. And then the other side of it, right? So you have the cultural framework side of it. But then the other side of it is the criticism is the startups and the entrepreneurs that they can't use this. Yes, they can. Because if you start being cognizant of everything that I'm showing you here, it's going to follow you through each stage of your organization, right? The first year, the second year, the third year, everything we've learned, the strategies, the cultural frameworks, whatever works, it's going to follow you, and it's going to bring a structure to what you do. Because what do startups and entrepreneurs like to do? They love to chase the low hanging fruit. And how many times have I seen business owners just take someone's word for it, start changing their strategy, start changing their structure because somebody told them to? That person brings nothing back to the organization, and then they get ghosted, and that person's gone. Every startup's been through it. Someone comes in, you shouldn't do this, you should do this. Oh, hey, bring my guy in. Hey, I can do that for you. I'll tear that up for you. And then they don't do it, and they get offended, and you never hear from them again. And then you might have a litigation issue, or you might have an issue where they stole from you, or they didn't pay you back. But there's so many things that can happen. But this is that pack model. So once again, the criticisms are it's not made for startups, it's made for corp. I don't agree, and I just explained why. And then it also too, the criticism that it's not original. I agree, it's not original, but the structure is original. And if you follow this framework, it will help you disrupt industries, or it will help you prevent disruption. So this is the model. It's pivot, adapt, create, transcend, and disrupt. Once again, 5 tools, just like the 5-tool employee framework. But this is what's inside the model. The pivot, the low-hanging fruit, right? How many times have you been to a startup? How many times have you talked to a corporation head honcho that really has never read their market or their customer analysis? They haven't created customer retention management module or an app. They haven't really studied their market. They haven't. There's some models that we're going to get into. I have some really cool models on studying the market, but you haven't done your market and customer analysis. You haven't done that. You say you have. You go to big meetings, you have 10 meetings a day, 15 meetings a day. You never get a chance to really dissect your industry, to look at the CAGR, right? The compound annual growth rate, the TAM, the total accessible market. There's all these items that you haven't really looked into. The keywords, and words like harmonization and other stuff like that. Other keywords that come into key industrial terms that people start talking about every year. Like, oh, that's the new keyword that we have to start following. You know all that stuff, but you really don't know the meat and potatoes. You don't know your clients. You don't know how much of a stronghold they have on you, that if they leave you right now, you are gonna be hurting big time, and that you have no diversification within your clients. You have none. You're focused way too much. You're depending on one client way too much. And even further than that, let's say they leave you because you're terrible. Okay, cool. Hopefully there's room for improvement. Hopefully you have the time. But what if they haven't also studied their market, and they have a new product line that's going to take them by storm, and it's really going to disrupt their industry, and they're not paying attention to it? So there's some things you can control, and there's other things you can't control. But if your client is not paying attention to their market, right, or their external forces, and you are, and you have the tools to help you look at everything, then why aren't you telling them what they should be paying attention to? Because if you tell them that, it's only going to make the trust even stronger, right? And sometimes a lot of us say, man, I need new clients, man, I need new customers, I need more sales. Sometimes the best way is to look at your existing clients and get more sales from them, because you never know who they might hook you up with, or you never know what parent company they work for, or what sister companies they have. You never know. Sometimes you can actually get grandfathered in because you're involved with them, right? And one of the cool stories that I have about that market and customer analysis, the pivot side, is that at Pepperdine, one of the coolest guys I know, Dr. Jim Salas, a huge mentor of mine, I was in his sales and marketing class, and I remember he told all of us, there was like 15 of us. He told all of us, hey, each person grab a piece of the board and write down your sales and marketing strategy. So I was up there and I was writing down all the analytics, all the stuff that I wrote, and everybody else's was so tight. It was so tight that it was simple. Like they knew what they wanted to do and they brought it down to a level where it's like, oh man, that makes total sense. Mine was just all over the place. People were laughing at it. It was so much analysis in there. And even one person said, what the hell is that? And they all laughed. So my professor, Dr. Salas, came up and I remember he was just like, Brian, this is really good. You've obviously done a thorough analysis on your industry, on your customers, but this one right here, what I'm noticing right here is your customers are outsourcing like billions of dollars of worth of product. They're outsourcing it, and you have those clients, but you only have like a couple $1 million with them. And you're telling me that it's a really stringent process to become an approved supplier for these customers that are Fortune 100 companies. Brian, it doesn't look like you need more marketing and sales. It looks like you need to attach yourself to these clients and learn them a lot more and learn how to get more sales from them because they're already in there with you. It was just incredible. Sometimes you go looking across the world, but what you're looking for is right in front of you the whole time. And then you jump into adapt. So the pivot is low hanging fruit, capture what's there very quickly. And if you can't do that, you jump into adapt. And when you adapt, it's something more external, could be internal as well, but it's forces and factors that are really, really, really getting into your business without you even trying, right? They're attacking you and they're external, they're internal, they're forces, they're factors, is all this stuff, but they're getting you like a war is going on that's going to affect your product line. A tariff is going on that's going to affect the cost of you buying that product, right? A war is going on that is scaring your sister companies that are manufacturing in certain areas across the world, so they don't want to have a company or a manufacturing facility in that country anymore because there's no stability. You don't know what's going to happen. The tariffs might tear your supply chain apart as well, or your costs. So what do? You have to move some of that product line back. You have to, or move, or just get rid of the organization, the company, and just move everything back, right? Or locate it at another location, at another part of the world where you know that they specialize or they have the labor for that kind of stuff. We're seeing this right now a lot in a lot of offshoring that we did in the last 20, 30 years is starting to come back, especially with President Trump right now, who's all about America first manufacturing. So a lot of the stuff that didn't make sense to manufacture here in the United States is leaving, right? External forces, external factors. It left, and now it's coming back because the current president, wants to boost manufacturing in the United States or with our sister countries or cousin countries that we work with. So you're seeing a lot of nearshoring, a lot of reshoring happening right now, but there's so much analysis that has to happen. That's adapt. Adapt is based on Michael Porter's five forces, so many other items too that I'm going to be going over one at a time. Then, if you can't adapt, you create blue ocean strategy, your balanced scorecard of the internal aspects of your organization because you have no structure. So externally is more Porter's five forces, about competitive strategy. Also to blue ocean strategy. That's external. Then internal is more the balanced scorecard that I'm going to go over with you. So if you're noticing, there's all these models that I've tried out in the field that I've used in my presentations and my investor decks that I've got investments for, and all this stuff that we've done that's created this framework. And that's why you have to follow it. Pivot's a lot easier. It's quicker, efficient. Adapt is going to take more time. You really are going to have to pay attention to whatever external factors or external forces are happening that you're going to have to pay attention to and make some big adjustments to, right? It's about adjusting. And then if you can't do that, then you create something. What if you see something 5 years down the line that's going to replace you, right? Phone technology. Right now, we're seeing a massive amount of technology for TVs. Like a new TV right now is not going to be the same technology 2 months from now or 6 months from now. Also, too, is solar panels right now. Solar panels right now, they're changing constantly. The technology is changing constantly. They're getting more compact, a lot more compact. The semiconductor industry, so many things that are changing constantly for the better. But if you put all your eggs in one basket and you have one company that's designed for this, and that company right now has a market share of 15%, which is really, really extraordinary, but you have no new products coming out. You're not diving into the new markets. So really, a year from now, you're going to be in the harvestation phase. where you're really just going to try to sell off all your inventory at a cheaper cost because you didn't pay attention to the market factors, right? So that's create. Then the last one is transcend. Once you understand if I need quick changes, if I need to adjust a little bit more, adapt, pay attention more, change some stuff in my organization, or I can't do that, I need to create a brand new strategy to stay competitive in the marketplace. Once you do all that, then you